So you hardly leave the house.
For work,
Yeah, no
meet
choice.
people,
Like here and there, yeah.
go see my mom or something.
Ah.
Yeah, but other than that, I try not to go out.
Same.
But I'm a homebody lah.
Right,
If I
right.
could make money, just stay at home. I'll
You are
happily-
happiest man in the world, huh?
Okay. We start, huh? You okay?
Yeah, okay.
See, one of the things I need your advice also. I keep doing the and ahs.
Those are fillers, lah. Those
Cannot,
are,
no choice, huh?
you
You just have to be conscious.
No, you just have to be conscious of it, lah. Because when you're doing the you're thinking of what you're going to say next, so that comes along to fill it up. That's why it's called fillers, right?
Yeah.
But I think it takes practice, lah, bro. You just start your conversation with. A lot of people start with so. You notice? So so it's a filler. The so is actually, we've got who, huh? You know, that time, that millisecond for you to think of that name. You try, it's practice.
I see. It's like politicians and actually,
what the fuck am I going to say? You know, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it's good to have a professional on to, I realize, I know we have not really started. Okay, I'll make the intro. Welcome to the ImAssuming podcast with Ija Mohan. And today I have, I suppose, you know him best as PhatFabes.
Yes, thank you.
I would probably know him as Fabian, but I still call you PhatFabes, right?
Yes,
but not so fat anymore.
Slim Jim from now on. Let me look at the camera and say that Slim Jim.
It works, right? So I think right before we started, we were just talking about kind of being conscious about our voice, right?
Correct.
And you were saying it's practice. I think one of the assumptions that I've always had, because ever since college, I've done a lot of public speaking and those free, nobody will pay you MC this event in college deal, right? So I've had this assumption that, I'm quite good at speaking.
Right.
I'm quite good at voicing, articulating and all that. Until I started recording this podcast and then realized the amount of times I say, blah, blah, blah.
We all fall into that trap, bro. Even I till today. Really? There are some days of the week I tend to use a certain word more than I would on a regular basis when I'm having a conversation with a friend.
It is subconscious and...
These are all fillers, but then when you pick up on a word that you feel comfortable with, like for example, actually.
Yeah.
You tend to start a sentence with actually. You tend to fill up a gap between two sentences with actually. So you go like, actually, today I have Ija with me.
Yeah.
And actually, you see, you don't even think about it. And then when you're conscious of it, you realize you dump that word, another word takes its place.
Yeah.
So, but Obama is really good.
But he drags his words, lah.
So he doesn't drop in fillers, but he has loads of pauses in between. Now, to me, I feel like pauses are better than fillers, lah.
Yeah, definitely, lah.
If you notice a lot of people who go on the mic, right, they want to sound like they're fluid. So they go in. I know this one guy, I'm not going to mention names, but he goes like, I'm here in Bukit Bintang. Look at that. Look at that. Is giving him time to think of what he's going to say next.
Right.
But he doesn't realize that. Look at that. It's very annoying. It's like after a while, okay, enough with this. Look at that. What are we looking at, right?
Right. Okay.
But then on the other hand, when you get someone like President Obama, when he says, I'm now in Bukit Bintang, and I'm looking around me and I see a girl in a skirt. See that pause? That pause to me is a lot more effective because now I'm waiting for you to say something.
It's got gravitas, right?
Yes. When you say, look at that, it's like, can you just shut up?
So in terms of this whole beginning of this podcasting journey, I think it is, if anything, a radio personality or somebody who's been in radio or on air would have a very good understanding of, somebody who's not necessarily seeing you, or just listening to you.
Correct.
So everything you say, how you say it, really matters, lah. I mean, in the sense that, I don't know how you can like steer conversations. Like you were mentioning gravitas, right?
Right.
Me personally, trying to slow down and take your time and speak, I think takes a lot of confidence as well, right? There's, in the sense that you need to be comfortable that people are waiting to hear from you. People are paying attention.
Correct.
You're just not, I hope I don't forget this and I hope I don't forget that.
But a lot has changed, though, as far as radio is concerned. A lot has changed from the time I started in '96 and now.
Wow.
Okay. Now we know, of course, it's the era of disruption. Human beings have got attention span of 3-4 seconds, worse than a goldfish.
Wait, really? So
yes.
bad. Okay.
Every few minutes, you feel like pulling out your phone to see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Every few minutes, you want to quickly scroll and see, did somebody like my page?
Yeah.
So how do you get a person's attention completely? It's almost next to impossible.
Okay.
So what you do is, instead of now telling you a proper story when I got on radio, right, the first thing that we were taught was radio is theater of the mind.
Okay.
Right? We all know that. Why is radio so much more difficult than going on TV? Because I did both, right?
Okay.
It's simply because if you look at all the studies that have been done over the years, you know
I'm trying to be extra cautious with you.
Yeah, it's
to
all right,
limit
bro.
my arms and
Just
arms.
say it like it is. I mean, it is a podcast that, we can be ourselves.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But you know that communication as a whole, right? 93% of communication, effective communication, is non-verbal.
Yeah. Yeah. The cues looking at you.
Yes, looking at you. If I looked at you and I did, I don't have to say a word. I'm asking you to come to me, right? So it's only that 7% that's effective, which is verbal communication.
Right.
So a radio DJ has that 7% to play around with.
Okay.
Lebih kurang lah.
Okay.
To get someone's attention.
Okay.
So what you do is, now you have to create a story. When I'm telling you something, I have to create that story in your mind. You're driving, you're listening to me, and I have to start. It's like reading a book. When you read an interesting book, it takes you to that place.
Yeah, because
right?
your mind fills in what they look like.
Correct.
The scenario.
Correct.
Okay.
So I have to tell you, and I have time to do that back then.
Okay.
Because nobody's going to pick up his phone and go like, what's on my WhatsApp? There was no WhatsApp then.
Yeah.
There was no, all these things.
You had 4 channels on TV. If TV was boring, you have the radio on.
Correct. And the radio was on. Yeah, I listened to my favorite song, but what is the DJ going to say next?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's telling me this story about this lady. And then I'm imagining she was in a white dress. This was middle of the night. Is this a ghost story? I'm starting to put a picture, right?
Right.
Can't do that in this day and age.
Why just no?
People don't have time.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It takes me, let's just say, about 20 minutes, maybe lesser, 15 minutes.
Okay.
To try and tell you a story within 30 seconds. That's what it is today.
You feel this is how commercial radio is, lah, in the sense that to capture, or not they're switching channels, lah.
They're switching channels. They're switching channels, or if I don't get to the point within that 30 seconds, you've lost me.
Okay.
You've lost me.
So this is probably, if the past few years, years is putting it lightly. Maybe the 6 years, the last 6 years I've been very familiar with the world of marketing, digital marketing, getting people's attention.
Correct.
And what are the mediums you're going to use to market? As a small company, you're probably not looking radio ads, you're not looking at TV ads. So we're looking at Facebook and all that. But even then, what you say makes a lot of sense, because we look at how do we get their attention in the first few seconds of a video.
Correct. Why do we need to skip? Why we are allowed to skip an ad after 5 seconds? Simply because I know I've got you within the first 5 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
I know what ad it is.
Yeah.
Remember, you see most of the ads, after 5 seconds, you're allowed to skip it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because I did it so well within the first 5 seconds. That's all I need.
It's already in your mind. So if you're interested, you'll probably stay and watch
the rest of it.
So this is what I feel that is very counterintuitive, and I probably see breaks my assumption, right? It's right about 5-6 years ago, I followed Jay Leno. Jay Leno only because this guy is a car nut, right?
Yes.
Apart from being a very, very, very successful talk show host, he's an idiot when it comes to spending money on cars.
Right.
I resonate with that.
Right.
So he came on this Joe Rogan podcast. Okay.
Joe Rogan.
So I've heard of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I know Joe Rogan because of
Fear Factor,
and then MMA or UFC. He was a lot of UFC. But I was not a fan of following him as such, but I was a big fan of Jay Leno.
Right.
So, and I wanted to know, what is he going to talk about? Because you
Right.
never see Jay Leno outside of a talk show setting. Like, he
Correct.
doesn't talk about himself.
Yeah.
So I watched that podcast, and that was probably one of the shorter podcasts that I watched. I think that one was probably just over an hour, maybe 1.5 hours, right? And suddenly I found myself watching two people sitting kind of like this and having a conversation for 1.5 hours, and I was hooked. And then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this is not a movie. There's no production value. There's no script.
Right.
These guys are not in makeup or any kind of costume. They're just talking. And the only question I couldn't answer is, how do they have my attention? That's what I was very perplexed, right?
Right.
And then because of that, I started watching other Joe Rogan podcasts.
Right.
The Jay Leno one was interesting. I don't watch all. So I can't pick and choose what's interesting, right? But, if you follow podcasting, it's like super counterintuitive to this idea of marketing.
But then again, okay, I agree with you absolutely. They actually did a research. See, what you're looking at right now, what you're saying is, it's a very niche market in the sense that, okay, if I like to listen to Jay Leno,
right,
and he talks about cars,
right,
then to me, it doesn't matter if it's going to be an hour.
Because I'm a fanatic, so
I'm a fanatic. I'm
24 hours, I'm probably watching him.
I'll watch him, right?
Right.
Then I discovered that Joe Rogan is great. But now suddenly when I watch Joe Rogan without Jay Leno, not that good.
Okay.
Right? And there have been some researches done on podcasts, right? If you realize there are podcasts that are out there that's only 18 minutes long.
Correct. Yeah.
20 minutes long max. Okay? Those are the ones that's catered for the masses.
Okay.
So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to hit you with something. Before you start getting bored, I'm out.
Okay.
The idea is because then now you'll be wondering, shit, I have to wait till next Tuesday before this dude continues what he was talking about, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But if I was targeting a niche market and these are people who love cars, then I can sit down and I can talk about cars for an hour or two, and I'll have 1 million people who love cars watching me. So it's what you want in the podcast. It's who you want to capture and what you want to capture. Like you and me having this conversation.
Yeah.
20 fellas would have tuned off already by now. What these two fellas talking about?
The PhatFabes fan. The Slim Jim fan.
They're probably saying, poor thing, it's on a podcast, okay, just leave it all in the background.
No, I do agree with you.
Yeah.
There seems to be a difference. I think, this whole new digital era, I mean, sound like an old man saying digital.
No, yeah, exactly.
Everything is
digital.
Right? But I guess the word you use is the right one, like, in terms of there's niches, right?
Yes.
And of course, when you say a niche and then, every Joe Rogan video gets, 3 million views, that's a big niche for him.
Yes, correct.
Right? For him. But comparatively, it's still a niche, like people who like a certain thing.
Correct.
So allowing people to find the content that they want, kind of, I think it kind of disengages from the whole machinery of you don't have to follow certain rules. In a sense, even doing this podcast, when I ask people to come over, and right now it is just people whom I know, who I've met, who I think is interesting, and probably wouldn't mind sitting down for a coffee with me anyway, regardless whether it's a podcast or not. They probably wouldn't mind spending that time with me. And I had no structure in play, right? I said, let's just see what happens. Let's just start a conversation, see where it goes. And so far, I think you're number 11, podcast number 11, right? So far, the first 10, not one podcast has gone below an hour. It's gone more.
Right.
And I've had one podcast with Kavin J, right?
Oh, dude, definitely can talk you to death.
3.5 hours.
There you go.
And the only reason we cut it short is our friend was late for his show.
He had to
so
go.
He got the alarm like, dude, I gotta be at my show in half an hour. I said, okay, we stop. It was like a hard stop. Okay, we stop.
That's it. And
he's
left.
running to the car and that's the only reason.
But he's naturally a funny man, at the end of the day. So if I like that kind of stuff, I would have sat there for that 3.5 hours and watched you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one thing that I'm trying to kind of come to terms with. Like people ask me, I was talking to a friend who's a reporter, right? And I asked him to come on. I kind of want to hear your story, how you got into this and all that. And I said, maybe allocate maybe anywhere between 45 minutes to 1.5 hours because I don't know what's it. He was like, "Oi, relax lah. Why do you want 45 minutes? There's too much time, man. What are you going to talk about for 45 minutes?"
Right.
And then I'm telling him like, yeah, that's what I thought. But most of the podcasts actually drag into an hour plus. Or if there's something to talk about, 2 to 3 hours. Right. And we don't hover at one subject, right?
Yeah. You jump. Yeah.
So that is the...
So I think again, it's the whole structure. Like you say, you're doing a podcast. You're having, for example, story time with Ija.
Right.
So you come on and you say, all right, I got a story to tell you. My story today is I went to the market yesterday. Right. I was about to buy fish, and I realized that I'd rather eat chicken. I suddenly came to this realization that chicken tastes better than fish. If you do a podcast like that, which is a random story at any given time when you come on, then you cannot have a 1.5 hour podcast.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. Because you're creating content and it's not so easy to create.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, oh shit, today's Tuesday, it's story time with Ija. What did this idiot go and do now? Example.
You somehow know my life.
And then you come and says, oh man, guess what? I just paid $1,000 fine. I got out of my house, I got out of the car and I realized I didn't have a mask on. And then I had this tap on my shoulder. Ambi, apa? Mana mask? You pointed at the police, you pakai? Okay, bagus. And he says, Tapa, now you use this someone and put it on your face and go home. So that kind of podcast, 10, 15 minutes, done. Fun story, in, out.
Yeah.
There's nothing too heavy.
Correct.
Everyone has a good laugh.
Correct.
And we're done.
Right.
But you want to I understand what you mean when you say your podcast can go 3 hours because
I think I'm saying it I'm fascinated.
Right.
I'm fascinated. Like if you had told me that I can sit down with someone and we are recording, and if I said we're gonna for example, Kavin.
Right.
He knew he had a show.
Right.
We allocated time. He wanted to go to the show early, meet his buddies and all that. So we were thinking 1 hour, 1.5 hours.
It went on to 3 hours.
Yeah,
plus.
so we both didn't come with the intention of, we should talk and do.
Yeah.
But when you decide to, when the conversation carries you away, right? Basically, you lose track of time, and lucky to God, he had his alarm on, which is actually a bad habit, right? To have it on.
And my phone's ringing in the pocket. My mother probably wants me to buy some curry powder and come or something.
I know I'm saying something, but my phone is not on silent. So, okay, that reminds me. Okay, so now that I'm off the hook.
But I mean, being on a radio, we've always been taught that no matter what you say, it has to have some kind of, it has to relate to your audience.
Okay.
Because once it stops relating to them, then it becomes a very in-house conversation.
Correct.
So we are having a great time.
Yeah.
We're laughing our heads off and we're having internal jokes that only you and I understand.
Yeah.
So then you start alienating everyone else.
Correct.
You're like, what are these two people talking about? I don't understand. You
Okay.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there has still got to be some kind of a structure. Whatever you do, this is just my thoughts and what I've been taught. Whatever you do and say has to relate to someone who's watching or listening.
Okay. Okay.
Then I'll be really hooked on it. Like, for example, if you go to the swimming pool, you jump into the pool and your shorts flies off. 20 fellas would have had that happen to them. They go like, oh my God, it happened to me too. Now I'm interested because what you're saying is relating to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've heard some podcasts that I get bored because it's two people having a conversation between themselves.
It's very inside.
Very inside. It's what I like, what I don't like, what I agree, what I don't agree. It's just going on back and forth.
Yeah.
And it leaves me out of the picture.
So there's from coming from a radio point of view, there is a responsibility to keep the listener engaged.
Engaged all the time.
Yeah. I think that's an assumption that in podcasting you just have a conversation and hope people find it interesting.
Find it interesting, correct.
Okay, yeah.
You see why all the nut, shouldn't be saying this, the nut job type podcast, like what's that dude who talks about aliens?
This few,
man,
right?
no, that old man.
The old man.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Now it'll come to me.
Okay.
So he goes like, all right, so I have managed to get my hands on
you're talking about InfoWars, is it?
No, not InfoWars lah. Man. Never mind. One day when he comes to me, I'll give you a call and say, yeah, this is the one.
Rush Limbaugh, no, but that guy is not so...
So he says he's find documents.
Okay.
And this is from Area 51.
Right.
And he's flipping pages. And you can hear him going like, okay, you see, this is what it says. Now, he may be bullshitting us to the max.
Yeah.
But because I like all these UFO alien stuff, I'll be listening. Now, I'm engaged, right? You know, if I didn't believe in these things, and I think that we're the only people in the entire universe, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, so I guess there must be some connectivity between you and who's listening and watching.
Would you say there's a difference because you have done both radio and TV, right? Would you say there's a difference in engagement from people who can just listen to you and versus people who can see you and hear you? In terms of, do you see a different kind of following?
Of course.
So you feel people who might not necessarily have been your fan on radio might like you more on TV?
Correct. I have that. I know that. Yeah. For a
really?
fact. Yeah.
How do you explain that, or why do you think that is so?
I guess. I mean, okay, on TV, like I told you, why I think radio is even more difficult than TV to start off with is because TV, what you see is what you get. You've got facial expressions, you've got hand gestures, you've got all these things that come into play that makes you look larger than life.
Okay.
Right? And people tend to get attracted to a TV personality. It could be the smile. It could be the simple way that this person moves. It could be so many little minute things, right? As far as radio is concerned, it's what you say and how you tell that story. I mean, your voice is the least most important thing. You could sound like a frog and still be the number one radio DJ. Yeah. It's
that is true. Okay, yeah.
You know? But it's how you tell that story, right? And that is very dangerous simply because if you get annoyed by certain words I say or the tone of my voice or how I say things
without seeing any visuals,
then I'm gone. But if I put it with a face, then, you know, that voice is now not so annoying anymore because, dude's got a cute laugh lah. Example.
Okay.
You know, so that, I guess that's the difference.
No, I think many years ago when I was I can safely say when I was a kid, like, you need to get that?
Yeah.
Okay, please get that.
Really?
No, it's okay. We are not live, so it's alright.
Yeah. Bro. I'm recording a podcast. Yeah. Can. No, not me. The main host of the podcast is laughing. Tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay, bro. So my mother wanted me to get some chicken curry because she's made some toss. So I told her I'm getting it soon. Yeah.
By the way, that happened exactly when I watched Jay Leno on Joe Rogan.
The phone rang.
Because Jay Leno doesn't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
So the phone was on his top pocket. It rang. And like he just took out the phone like, hey, I'm doing this podcast.
You know what? That's the way it should be, man. Really cool.
So like, you were like, Joe Rogan were like, well, he's answering his phone. Like, but they didn't say anything, right? Yeah. But then you realize like, it's Jay Leno.
Yeah, what exactly. Are you gonna do? Just let it go.
Okay, so what were you talking about? We were talking about radio versus TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I was saying that when I realized that there's such a difference is actually when I was a kid going to Tower Records because they were having some giveaway.
I remember Tower Records.
See, so long ago, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was Lil Kev and Fly Guy. Okay. Right? And they were the shit on the radio.
Right.
Point. And there was a girl, I think it was a group of girls.
Uh-huh.
And then there's this one Chinese girl and they were right in front looking at, and then she was like looking at them and they're giving him some freebies and he's like, you're little guy, fly guy. I thought you're all more good looking. You know,
I know exactly what you mean.
I was right behind her. I was like, oh, I felt that.
We have faces for radio.
So in that sense, it's that when I realized that people build their own imagination,
Absolutely.
Right? So for them, little guy, fly guy looks whatever the way
they
want
think,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
based on the voice and the stories they tell. Yes, I had this lady, same thing, on the phone, chatting, and I said, go to our website. You can see all the DJs there. No, I don't want to get disappointed. Straight to my face.
Wow.
She's basically telling me, I like to hear what I like to hear. Okay. I don't want to be disappointed after seeing you.
Okay, it's a little bit of a fantasy that she wants to...
Exactly. Because that's what radio was back then. You know, the early days of radio, right? All these DJs had their alter egos. Have you heard of Wolfman Jack?
No.
He was really popular, if I'm not mistaken, in the late 70s. So he comes on and he goes like, oh, it's Wolfman Jack here. It's 45 degrees in Los Angeles. And he just bam, right? And he was one of the biggest names back then.
Wow.
But Wolfman Jack was this scruffy looking dude, okay, with big 747 wing collars, okay, holding a paper bag when he's finished work, and he walks out of the studio and no one knows that's Wolfman Jack.
And he was one of the biggest
He was one of the biggest names. So, and he talks like this in real life. It's like, hey, hi, I'm John, for example. I can't remember his real name, but so no one could guess, and no one wanted to know who the real person was.
They
just wanted Wolfman Jack. That's how it was back then.
I think the funny thing is, if and don't know whether I'm kind of like taking a left turn, but if somebody comes up to you now and tells you that they want to be in the movies, a movie star, or they want to act in movies, right? My assumption, I don't want to put this on you, right?
Right.
My assumption is, number one, I expect you to be good looking for the guy, or girl, I expect you to be hot or beautiful, whatever, right? And I feel many people share that when somebody say, oh, I want to be a movie star, I want to be in the movies, right? But then I realized that when I watch movies now, some of the most amazing actors are not good looking at all.
Absolutely.
And you take people like, what's the extreme example? Danny DeVito. I love this
Brilliant
guy. This guy
actor.
is one of the most... He's so funny.
Yeah.
Whatever role he plays. If I find out he's in a movie, I want to watch the movie. This is how talented he is, right? But I imagine when Danny DeVito goes and tells somebody that I want to be in the movies and I want to be a big star, who the fuck would have taken him seriously?
Correct. It's a mindset thing, but it is changing.
You think so?
I think. I mean, I've had many conversations with many producers and directors before.
Okay.
About. Let's just talk about skin color alone.
Right.
All right.
Right.
There was a period in time where you had to be pan-Asian looking in order to be on TV.
Okay.
To do commercials.
Okay. We're talking about Malaysia.
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about Malaysia.
Okay.
Okay. It's a known fact.
Okay.
If you are dark skinned, cannot.
Okay. Is that why many people identified as Eurasian? A little bit campur, Eurasian.
So you have to have that pan-Asian look.
Okay.
So much so, people like me with dark skin don't even bother going for auditions because I know I'm not going to get the job.
Right.
But then when the whole thing changed,
okay,
not the whole thing, but certain people gave into it and said, you know what? If you're a good talent, you're a good talent.
Right.
Okay, regardless of what you look like or what your skin color is, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a little too late. Because I still have the perception that if I went and sat down in a room with 300 other people who are fairer than me and look better than me, I'm not going to get it.
Right.
So I don't even bother going for auditions.
Okay.
So my conversations with these people, I have had the one I really remember vividly is sitting down and having a conversation with this guy who does commercials. And I said, why? Why aren't there dark-skinned people in any of your commercials?
Yeah.
He says, Fabes, it's not that we don't want to anymore. Maybe that was then. But when we put out auditions, they don't want to come because the assumption is they're not going to get it.
Right.
When I got on TV for the first time, and this is the truth, when I got on TV for the first time, a dark-skinned Indian, not so good-looking, nice and round fellow. Hey, come on, you got to face the facts, man. if I have to explain what PhatFabes means, that means it's not working. Fat is pretty hot and tempting. And if I tell you it means pretty hot and tempting, means it's not working. So yeah. The amount of emails I received from the Indian people I was overwhelmed by it.
Really, yeah?
It's like, congratulations, bro. You broke the stereotype, bro. Congratulations. Thank you, bro. Now you've opened the floodgates for the rest of us. All kinds of emails. I never thought people were thinking like that until I got those emails.
Right.
You know, I've had good emails and bad emails.
Okay.
I've had this woman who sent me an email that says, who is this fella on TV? He looks like he belongs in a mama shop taking orders.
And they have so much conviction in their thought that they can write an email and hit send and think that other people deserve to hear their opinion.
Exactly. And you know, the stereotype is, if I am on TV, I need to have an accent. Be it British or American or Mid-Atlantic. Some people still speak good English. Number one. Number two is, I have to look Matsale-ish. Okay? Fair-skinned.
Right.
Then I'm a good host. So when Rina and I came on TV for the first time, Rina Omar, my partner on TV, we were 100% Malaysian. Right. We were doing the shut up lah, no lah, you know,
authentic lah,
and people couldn't accept it.
Who couldn't accept it? Listeners,
viewers. This
really?
was TV. They couldn't accept it. They kept saying, "Who are these two idiots?" Comparing us to other hosts who spoke with accents,
who were poised lah. The camera is on. This is how I need to act.
You know, would you like a cup of tea? Kinda, you know,
Oh wow!
But guess what? And my partner Rina, she was so down, and I told her this. I said, wait, things will change. You just wait. Go with the flow and wait. And true enough, after about a year, things started to change. And you know what happened? People started saying, PhatFabes and Rina, oh my God, the most down to earth, the most real, original Malaysian hosts. I can sit and listen to them because we wanted to tell you that we are like you. We used to come on the show with our pajamas. Because I know at this time of the night, you are watching us in your pajamas. So we did all these things, and then people finally started to think, hey, hang on a minute. Hosting is not about accent. It's not about how you look. It's about what comes out of your mouth, your content, and how good you make me feel.
Is there another side of the story in the sense that when you say the first year was rough, right?
Yep, very rough.
So who were the executives lah, who was willing to take the gamble of?
There's this one man I will always thank is Michael Christian Simon.
Okay. Well, right? Very powerful name, I must say.
Very powerful name. Very powerful man in his own right, you know. He came, I was the first host for that show.
Okay.
All right. I don't think anybody else would have given me an opportunity.
So he made the call.
He saw right through me, right through my dark skin and my not so good looking face, and said, "You got the talent. Why don't you do the show?" And he kept me on, and we became one of the biggest shows on TV at that time.
No, because I can imagine starting off that way, and usually, and forgive me for saying usually it's the idiots who have nothing to say who are the loudest sometimes, right?
Of course.
So even though many people might be enjoying the show, it's the people who don't enjoy it who probably will voice it out.
Yes.
And my assumption is not the creative side, but the bean counters, if you may, right? Looking at, wow, so much. See, I told you these people are not, we shouldn't have done this format. Look at the negative feedback. And for somebody, and I'm guessing you're saying Michael is a person, for Michael to put his foot down and say, wait and watch.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what he went through with his bosses, but he kept us there,
Yeah, but that means there's the foresight that he had. I mean, in the sense that to say that you guys believed in yourself, right? And you guys brought the talent to the show, right?
Right.
And somebody had to give you the shot.
Of course.
For you to kind of... And I'm sure... And now you're saying that I didn't know the first year was rough, right?
Exactly.
So when now I see the first year stuff, I just imagine like, you know, a corporate media machinery will not tolerate, especially when your formula is not the usual. Your formula seems to be the exception, right?
Right, exactly. It was, yeah.
But now I think the exception has become the rule, like localized content.
Yeah, everyone is doing it. Everyone is trying to be as local as possible, you know.
Yeah. I think more than being local, right? If you don't mind me saying, I think is being, my perception is very authentic. Like
authentic.
You know, you are yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you are yourself and you happen to have an accent, but you are yourself, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because it's you, who you are, right?
Who you are. It's how you speak outside. It's how you speak. You know, to me, the biggest compliment is when somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, you sound exactly like how you sound on radio." Thank you. Biggest compliment ever, because now it took me 3 years to be myself on radio.
Because you were trying to
be someone else. You know? I mean, it's just, it's very natural, dude. If you take a mic and you put it in front of someone's face, immediately the person changes.
Okay.
Even my own father.
Okay.
He will call me up on my handphone when I'm on air.
Okay.
Okay. This is my handphone. Hello. Can I speak to Fabian? I said, Pa, you're not on air. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, boy. Mommy, You know what I mean? You take a camera and you put it on someone's face. What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Yeah,
straight away
yeah.
You know, they do these things because it's just natural, you know.
Yeah.
But to be natural on a mic, to be natural in front of a camera, takes practice, believe it or not.
No, I can imagine. I can only imagine because I'm not in the situation. But yeah, and you know.
But you're getting good practice because you are. I known you from donkey years ago. You sound the same. Mic in front or not in front, you sound the same. So
no, actually, I must give credit where it's due. Right, when I was actually a very conscious, very aware of how I look, how I am.
Right.
And it was in college. I think the first year of college, man. One of my lecturers, this guy, Mr. Mark, we used to call him.
Right.
Big guy, right? Big, not fat. Big as in built lah.
Built lah.
He was fat.
Right.
And he lost a lot of weight. And he was proud that he lost all the weight.
Right.
He's fit, right? So he saw that I was always at the back of the class, just chilling,
quiet.
But he has spoken to me, right? So he knows I can speak and all that.
Right.
So one day he was asking something in the class, and then I was just still slinking at the back.
Right.
Then he actually called me out of the class. He took me outside of the class, just me and him. And he's like, "No, Ija, listen here. I want you to listen to me very carefully, right? Whether you like it or not, you are huge, right? When you walk into a room, people will look at you. Yeah. People will pay attention. Whether you like it or not, you don't have a choice.
Yes.
Right? If you choose to try and slink away in a corner, people still notice it. Right. But you think you're not, right?
Being noticed, yeah.
Yeah. So he said, you should just embrace what you are. People will look at you and you should just be comfortable with it. You don't have to do anything, but just be comfortable with the idea that people look at you.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay lah, it's not that I started projecting myself. It's just like the idea of what are people thinking about me? I forget it. This is who I am. You know, now even if I take a bad photo, I look at a bad photo and look like, but that's who I am.
That's who I am. Exactly. That's who I am. Yeah.
You know, that's me. That's who I am. So
correct.
You know, maybe hopefully the other photos will be nice, but I don't care about this bad photo. Let it go.
Yeah, I don't have a good side. You know, it's all the same side.
I
it's
don't
bad
know what
side.
That means.
Yeah, I don't know. This is my good side. I mean, really?
When people say good side, the only good side for me is the camera is far away now. Where they can't make the detail.
That's a good side.
So, and that's my weird. So that took it, but it took somebody to take me aside and kind of drill it into my head that don't give a fuck about what other people think about you. La.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I mean, I do too. La. We all fall into the trap, right? What other people think about me. And my wife says, you know, you're PhatFabes. You dress up a little. I said, you know what? I am PhatFabes when I'm at work. Look, I'm in my shorts and I came in my slippers and I've got my home black t-shirt, but I want to have my own life. I want to live my life, right?
Right.
But if you don't know if you don't know this about me, I am, what do you call that? And what's the term for it? An MB. So I am an extrovert introvert.
Oh,
it's
is it ambivalent? It's not ambivalent. Right?
No,
it's ambi.
Something. See, all these things are already old.
Somebody will remind.
When I'm on stage, when I'm on air, when I'm in front of a camera, I'm very comfortable doing all these things.
Okay,
it's like my home. Like this, I've always told people this: the stage is my second home.
Right.
The moment I get up on stage, I am at my most comfortable place. This is my space. I'm in control. I'm having a great time, so you are going to have a great time, you know?
Right.
But when I'm away from that, I become very quiet. I can walk into a restaurant that I'm not familiar with. Okay? So that's the reason why I'm such a creature of habit, because I go to places where I'm comfortable. I know where I'm going to sit. I know what I'm going to order. I know the guy who's going to take my order. Then I can go in there. But if I walked into a restaurant alone that I've never been to,
okay,
I scope the place and I cannot find a hidden, quiet corner. I turn around and walk away. I'd rather not eat. That's how bad it is. And I never understood this. Like,
so there is a little bit of a compulsive behavior. Yes. No.
Yeah. I don't. Not.
No.
I wouldn't say. Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you a break, in the sense that I relate to what you're saying. So much so to the extent I would probably not eat in a restaurant alone. In the sense that I would rather go and tapao.
Correct.
Eat in my car at my house.
I have done that. Gone in there, alamak. But you're really hungry, right? Get back into the car, drive around. Oh, there's a drive-through. Buy, park the car by the side, and eat. Yes. But there's one person that I met who was like that. And I never understood it until one day we were having a conversation. He's a comedian.
Okay.
A very well-known comedian. I don't want to mention names. Maybe he doesn't want the story to be shared.
Okay.
So I won't mention names. So I used to do a lot of events, right?
Yeah.
And, those days they used to hire these comedians to come and entertain the crowd. And on stage, he was the biggest thing.
Right.
And then the moment he came down, and he's gone.
I kind of can guess based on that. Based on that mannerism.
Yes, okay. So, and he's gone. And in my mind, what a show off, lah. What a proud man. Can't even sit and talk.
Right.
And then I understood, because I was like that. But I never saw myself as a proud person, because I know what I am. Then one day when we were having a conversation, and he told me, he says, no, I'm actually a very, very shy person. I'm an introvert.
So that persona of performing is you switch on and you can switch off.
Switch off. The moment you're off stage, it's off. You know?
But would you say you're a shy person?
I am.
But people will find it very hard to believe.
Hard to believe. You notice something that I do. These are all my secrets coming out now. I tell you. When I walk into the room, I'm the loudest person.
You make sure of it.
I make sure of it. I walk into a room because I'm a shy person, right? Now I need to take control of that situation. How do I take control of that situation? The moment I step into a room with strangers, I walk in there. Hello, what's up? Hey, how are you guys doing? That breaks that wall. And everyone now, I feel, is taken aback and going like, oh, wow, okay, that's Fabes is here.
Okay.
So now I'm in control. Now I'm not shy anymore.
Do you think
now
it's
I'm in my element?
It's almost like establishing yourself as the big dog in the room? I mean, not so much from an ego.
But I need that.
So that you don't have to be conscious about.
Correct. Thank you very much. That's exactly it.
So once you announce yourself, you don't feel like you have to go and be shy and sneak
No more.
around.
No more.
Here, guys.
I'm here already. That's it. So now I can have a conversation with anyone. I mean, literally, naturally, I can have a conversation with anyone. That took a lot of practice too. Actually, I was trained by Patrick Theo back in the day.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so there was one of these conversations we were having, and then we were supposed to meet a minister, and everyone's freaking out and panicking and getting nervous. And he says, look at it this way. Okay, whoever this person is, okay, he's exactly like you. When he goes and takes a poop, it smells the same. Okay? When his bladder is full, he needs to take a pee.
Yeah.
He moans and groans the same. So why are you so nervous? So I always had that in my mind. So now, and it takes a while to build that lah. But now I can meet the Prime Minister, for example.
Right.
Sure, there'll be some nerves, you know, going, but I can still hold a conversation and not go blank and go, oh my God, no panicking. And
what do you think? Is this thing
my mother calling me again.
Oh, okay.
Who is calling? No. So sorry. Oh no, actually, it's not my mother, it's my wife.
More important.
Yeah, more important than the mother. Can I?
Yeah, please,
just
please,
quick call back. See what happens, I tell you. Almost done, me. Okay. All right. Okay, bye. She was supposed to come along.
Okay.
But she's still getting ready. I said, you know what? You just get ready, lah. Go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's coming or what?
No, she's not. She's waiting for me. We're gonna go have lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
So, so this thing about you mentioning about, what do you call that? This not being able to talk to everyone or learning the skill to talk, being able to talk, and also this thing about being shy, right? It's something that, you know, if somebody who's shy is listening, it's something that they can, I wouldn't say fix, but it's something that they can change if they want to change.
Of course. The secret to be able to talk to anyone is ask questions.
Yes.
You know?
And I feel it's, you are right, and I feel it's so easy to ask questions.
Exactly.
And many people don't do it.
They don't, because they think, okay, this is a smart man. I have to sound as smart as him.
Yeah.
If not, he's not going to have a conversation with me. So when you try to sound as smart as him, in his mind, it's like, oh my God, what is it? What a dumb question. What a dumb statement this is making. So instead, I come to you and it says, oh, so you're the Menteri Besar. Wow. You know, I really don't know much about your state. I heard your state had this. Now he would be happy to tell you.
Yeah.
And now suddenly there's a conversation going on, and it's different. Of course, there's a lot that come into play. I do coaching for effective communication.
Okay.
So body language and things like that as well, they come into play when you're trying to get comfortable with someone of a higher
caliber and all that. Okay.
Right? But the simplest thing to do is to ask questions. And people will be more than happy to share or give you the answers to the questions you ask.
Yeah. And I also feel because I think I identify with you I do feel I'm a shy person.
Right.
But nobody will accept that.
Exactly.
Right? Because when you're out meeting people, you're obviously out meeting people, you're a bit social.
Correct.
But I think my wife has understood that I'm a hermit.
Right, exactly.
You know, I could stay at home every day, right? So one thing I realized that is when you ask a question, and it's like you said, right? It is so easy based on their response to keep asking questions and kind of lead them. It is actually the easier role to play instead of being questioned. Being questioned is actually harder.
Yes.
But so many people just don't. And I find that very fascinating in the sense that, you know, like even talking to a girl, talking to a girl for me is, I mean, I'm married now, so I should state this very carefully.
Example only, no.
When I was single and in the dating pool, for me, getting a girl to agree to go out with me was the tough part. Because I big Indian fella, don't know whether I'm going to go and carry her and throw off a cliff somewhere.
Right.
So breaking that perception for me was the hardest part. But once they're on a date, I was like, this is my domain.
Right.
Because it's so easy to converse, make someone feel comfortable.
Correct.
And then every girl, and I hate them for it, right? But every girl turns around and says, oh, you're such a teddy bear. And I'm like,
that's it. They just friend zoned you.
I was going for
teddy bear zoned you.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, but you are right. There is this shyness that we all think we have, or many of us have, but it's actually something you can learn out of, right?
Correct. You know, you hear everybody saying, oh my God, what do I say to him? You don't have to say anything to him. More like, what should I ask him? Now, that's a better approach.
Okay, actually,
You know?
Okay, it makes sense. You are actually helping people with this, so
it really does help. It really does help. Imagine if Tun is standing in front of you. A man who's lived for 90 over years, who's run this country twice over. You know, what are you going to tell him?
Yeah. You cannot be the interesting person in that conversation. But I'll give you an example, right? This was a few years ago, I was pouring petrol in my car And that time Ron 100 just came out. And I believe it was rocket fuel. I put in my Kia and the Kia is going to fly, right? So I was just in the petrol station putting petrol and, a car drove up. This was an Alpha. I think I've told the story before, but it was a classic car. And this old gentleman, Chinese gentleman got down and he was also putting around 100 behind me. But the car was in such a good condition. I just looked at it like, wow, that's a nice car. I couldn't help myself. I just blurted it out, right? And then he decides to, oh, you like cars? Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to come and have a look? So he gave me a tour of his car and all that. And then my fascination for cars. And he got excited because he likes cars, right? And they're like, oh, here's a young guy. There, I said younger than him. I say young. Younger than him. So he got so fascinated that I like cars so much. He has invited me over to his house, which has an underground garage.
No way.
Over 20 cars are parked at any time. His garage has its own petrol filling station.
What?
And the only reason I saw him at Petron was
he was
testing the 100 because at home he didn't have the 100.
Oh, wow.
So he was testing the 100 so he can switch his to 100. So he was just at one odd day where he was out testing it where I said hi to him. And this guy has, the nicest of the Alfa Romeos, Aston Martins. He's a BMW fan, which was great for me. Porsches and all. And he's a collector, Some of these cars are very old cars. He has restored. He's got like Mazda RX-7 that he's constantly modifying.
Really?
Yeah. And, so the only way I got to that is I just blurted out and said something. And it's nothing smart. It was just that nice car. Right?
Exactly.
And because I was excited
where's his house? Give me the address.
I'm hoping to have him on the podcast.
Oh, you should. That sounds like such an...
Yeah.
Wow, he has his own petrol pump in his house.
Yeah. And just to give you an idea, right? When I went to his house, he gave me a tour of his house. And we were talking and walking. 2.5 hours. By the time he covered the rooms.
What?
Yeah. Of course, every room's he's got rooms for massage rooms. He's got, the usual theater rooms, right? He's got 36 dogs in his house.
In the house or outside protecting the house?
Both.
Oh my gosh.
So he has, I shouldn't give this away, but he's got, but he's got like, if you ever try to climb over his house wall,
you get electrocuted and die.
Which has got a high voltage fence, which is rated to kill elephants actually, so don't try.
Wow.
But if you make it past that, there's actually how do I say it? It's like a ring where his dogs patrol. And there's 4 shifts of different, so all the German Shepherds patrol together, all the Dobermans patrol together.
What the heck, man? Who is this person?
Right? And if you get past that, then all the older dogs who have graduated from patrolling, the older chiller dogs, are in the middle, like in a garden. And then, like, some dogs who are very friendly who are in the house. And they have a farm up in Rawang where there's 155 dogs because the wife loves dogs and all that.
155 dogs?
Yeah. And these are not like purebreds and all that.
Right.
And, it's just dogs. Right? So, I mean, somebody like that, who is that successful, who's got that money, to even bother spending time with somebody like
taking
me.
you to his house and spending 2 hours showing you his... You see? All it took was one simple statement.
Yeah, and it in a way that, we say all these things that, everybody is... or looking out for themselves, blah blah. But this man knew I was trying to run a business, blah blah. He took me up to his office. He made me sit in his chair,
no way,
the boss man's chair, and he's sitting next to me and he's telling me,
maybe the man had the hots for you, day.
He has not made his move yet,
Yeah, okay. Very quickly telling you're married.
But I mean, he took the effort to, you could also have this, right? So you got to plan out your life as giving advice.
Wow.
And he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, he didn't.
And for that all to start by you just saying, nice car. Yeah. So, it really pays to not be shy sometimes. Correct.
Imagine you, like I said, if you met Tun, and we know he likes his cars too.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was your first question could be, Tun, out of all the cars you own, which is your favorite? That's it. that would start a conversation. You'll get a tour of his house.
Yeah.
You
got the call.
Me? Yeah. Remember the pao? Yes. My wife wants pao. Okay, my God, the Grab guy has been waiting downstairs for 1 hour and the security guard never called to tell that there's someone waiting.
He's just waiting.
He's just waiting there. He's going to hate my wife.
Wow.
There's a new POW thing that what's it called? POW Brothers or POW. Anyway, they're sending me some samples just to
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so delivery lah, so you got no choice but to.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe tip him a bit lah.
Yeah, of course lah. Poor fella. 1 hour apparently he's been waiting there.
Man.
Man.
Quite patient, huh?
Yeah. Because I remember telling him come at about 12.
Okay.
Yeah, because my wife was going to be home. It's now 1 something. Wow, really patient lah.
Maybe he was late lah. I would like to think he was late.
Oh yeah, he's late lah. Check. I remember lah.
I think one of the things that maybe not to segue or anything, but one of the things that I was very interested in is how we met as well. Was just it was it what chicken liver? What was it?
Correct. Gizzard.
Gizzard.
Gizzard. Was it gizzard?
Yeah, but we were saying chicken liver.
Chicken liver. Yeah.
And it was this weird thing where my mum cooks chicken liver, and I know many people don't like. And I think one of these days I just put out a photo of it on Twitter.
Correct.
And you responded.
Yes.
I think Ultimate responded.
Correct.
And then, trying to be clever, we started this, or I should say, I tried to use the hashtag chicken liver crew or
something like that. Yes.
And then we actually met up
at your mom's restaurant.
And then she had like a few different versions of chicken liver.
And then we had a full-on banana leaf lunch.
Yeah. So it's so odd that we.
Do you know Gani was with us?
Yes.
I still follow him on Facebook.
Yes.
But we've never met. That was the last time I met him.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Gani is a very fascinating guy. We probably meet up, I must say, maybe once a year.
Really, yeah?
To have like a, how you doing? How are you? How am I?
Right.
We have a very, I think we like each other a lot as people. Right. But somehow our worlds don't cross. The only time my worlds crossed was early during the Spicy Corner days where I was interested to look at startups and all that.
Right.
And he also was looking at starting a business or doing something. Correct. So we attended a lot of these conferences together. All these meetups for startups and all that. So that's when we kind of crossed paths. But once he found his thing and I found my thing.
He's doing stuff on social media and all that, right?
Yeah. I believe so. To be fair, I'm not well informed. But he's well versed in, I guess, digital branding, digital marketing, if I would say it.
Correct.
Definitely somebody I would want to have on the podcast.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
And what about Inbaraj?
Inbaraj. I got a story about Inbaraj. So
everyone's gone into food, into cooking, into biryani.
I actually wanted him on as the first guest because I'm actually I'm very close to him in the sense that we keep in touch. Quite often. And he was like, this podcast business all cannot lah. And he was like, and I think he said something like, when you get 2,000 views or followers,
then you call me.
Then I was just looking at him. I was like, okay, but make sure you have 2,000 views so that I can invite you. Since you're being an ass about this. But he's doing good. I think
he's doing good.
He's the quintessential hustler lah.
Yeah.
But his world is primarily in client servicing, website building,
correct,
social media marketing.
Then he started the whole, I think, this young entrepreneur.
Hackathons.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's kind of a go-to person for hackathons in the area and all that. So would be an interesting guest if he can, lower his ego and come on.
Oh no, 2000.
I'm just being, he's a friend, so I can make fun of him.
He messaged me out of the blue. I mean, I follow him on all his, so that's how I know what he's doing, right?
Right.
One day, I even ordered some food for him for one of my team meetings.
We also had the biryani man. Good stuff.
No, not the biryani though. This was before the biryani. He did the chicken thing.
Yes. Yeah. That was before
the naked chick or something or whatever it's called.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes. The naked chef.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the biryani. And then the other day he just messaged me. He says, "Hey, how are you, bro? You know, might have a client. Blah blah blah. Do an event and all that." I say, "I'm good." So we just chat. But I guess at this point in time, no one's going to do an event anytime soon yet, lah.
Up in
Correct.
the air.
Up in the air.
But you also had some run-ins with the F&B industry, right?
Yeah. I mean, I ran we had 2 restaurants.
Okay.
Had it for about 3 years.
Okay.
Literally killed me.
Okay.
For me, it's very simple. You want to run a restaurant, an F&B business, you either do it for fun and you've got all the money in the world that you don't really care whether you make money or not.
Okay.
You just want an establishment for yourself and friends.
Right.
Or if you're going to make that your bread and butter, you got to give it 110%.
This is Dirty Nellies.
Dirty Nellies. So I had one in Damansara Jaya and one in Life Center KL.
Okay.
Yeah. So Life Center KL, I thought I'll take it to the next level.
Okay.
I mean, freaking 5,000 square foot.
No,
huge.
what? Okay, just to get an understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again, this is my assumption, right? I would say you're probably one of the top VJs, DJs at that point, right?
Yes.
So what made you decide to go into something else? I don't know whether it's but what was the decision that pushed you to open a F&B or go into the F&B industry?
So by nature, I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
Okay. I never say no to any opportunity.
Okay.
Even though I know it's an MLM opportunity.
Okay.
And I know I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Or if somebody invites me to come and take a look at it, I'll come and take a look at it. For me, it's very simple. In my mind, when I am there, I could see a product that may have a future.
Okay.
Or I might bump into someone that I could work with in the future.
Okay.
So that's why I always go.
Okay.
So regardless, when you give me an opportunity, I'll say yes first before.
Okay.
Right. So my brother comes to me and says, let's open a restaurant, an English bar and restaurant. And I always wanted to.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things that many of us...
Yeah, it's a guy thing, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a quick story. In the early 90s, I actually had written down a list of things I wanted to do. I need to own this type of car.
Right.
I want to own a restaurant, specifically English restaurant and bar, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And that piece of paper, I stuck it into a book that I used to read a lot.
Okay.
And then obviously over time, the book went up to the bookshelf and I never read it anymore. And then mid-2000s, about 2011, after the Dinelli's opened in 2010. So one day my wife decides to clear out the entire bookshelf case, okay? Because there were so many new books, so she wanted to see which one she wants to give away. And she came across that book and she opened the page and there was this piece of paper in there. She pulls it out and I come home from work and she says, look what I found. You know when your wife tells you, look what you found when you came home from work, first thing goes to your head is, oh shit, I'm dead. Fuck, what do I do now? Right? I'm like, what? With that guilt on the face now. What? I found this. And I looked at it and everything I had written down, I think 7 or 8 things that I wrote down on a piece of paper, I had already achieved. And last on that list was English restaurant and bar.
Nice.
Right? So it was there. But it just needed somebody to come and ask me, which was my brother at that point in 2010. He says, Ane. I said, okay, let's do it lah. You know, at that time you had a little bit of extra cash, okay, jump into it. And we had no clue how to run a restaurant.
Okay.
We had partners. There were 4 of us, including me. We all jumped into it. We had a chef. The most experienced one of them all was the chef because he was a chef from Shangri-La, Singapore.
Okay.
And so he came down and so we were discussing what we were going to do. And I said, you know what? I went and bought a Gordon Ramsay book. Gordon Ramsay's original pub food.
Okay.
Okay? I said, that's your recipe. So we opened it and we looked, a toad in a whatever and this and that. And we kept it to the original English recipe.
Right.
Right? And it worked.
Okay.
We started doing all right.
But I thought there was, when you guys launched, there was banana leaf as well. For
oh, no, that came later. That was way later. Way later.
Okay.
So it started working. We had bread and butter pudding. We even had a British guy who came and says, my God, I've been all over and this is the best bread and butter pudding. And guess who was making the bread and butter pudding in back? It was this kakak from Indonesia. She was helping out in the kitchen, right? So we taught her how to do it.
Okay.
But she did it really well. So it was all good. Then, and I got all very excited about it because one of the guys that used to come to Dirty Nelly's Damansara was also connected with the owner of Life Center.
Okay.
And he went and told the bosses of Life Center because they had refurbished that place and they were looking for new tenants.
Right.
So they gave me a call and I got all excited. I did a bit of due dealer,
Right.
That area is perfect. There's the Thai club.
This was right behind Nouveau. Was it Nouveau?
No, the whole beach club area.
Okay, yeah.
The building, Life Center.
Right, yeah.
Right. So I think my due diligence was wrong, lah.
Okay.
Because I said, beach club, lots of people. Okay. Then Thai club, lots of people. I didn't realize lots of girls that brought the people. But never mind. I said, okay, lah, perfect area.
Right.
Jumped on board, opened the restaurant. It worked. And it didn't work. When I say it worked, because I had to run that restaurant like as if it was a convention center. I had to go out and look for clients to come into my place.
Okay.
What I didn't realize was I was on the first floor in a building surrounded by bars and clubs outside. So why would I want to walk into a building, go up the escalator to come to my place?
Right.
Right?
And they wouldn't naturally walk past your restaurant.
Correct. So what I started doing is then that's when we started to switch the menu. The menu remained the same for dinner and all that. But lunch, we started having banana leaf. We started having bak kut teh. My wife's from Klang. So, we got an auntie to teach us how to make bak kut teh. Because she owned a bak kut teh restaurant.
Right.
Then then people started to come in for lunch.
Okay.
So that place was all right. Then, of course, Damansara Jaya also had banana leaf. We want to keep it the same, lah. So it's doing all right. And then it came to a point where I started to really struggle. I could feel it really. Because, every time I needed people to pack the place, it had to be me going out, getting people to come in. I rarely get walk-ins. Walk-ins are coming in now for lunch.
Okay.
Because these are lunch sets and, with banana leaf and all that. It's easy for them and it's different. And that area didn't have any of those.
Right.
Right. But when it came to drinking time, unless I sold my beer super cheap, everyone's going to the Thai clubs and the beach bars, beach club because, they got more than just beers.
And at this point, how's your career on this side?
It was doing all right.
So you were still full on there?
Full on there. So that was what the problem was.
Okay. What was the problem?
The problem was I had to go to work in the day.
Okay.
When I'm done, so morning I'll go to the restaurant, check on everything, trust my manager.
Okay. I hear you when you say that.
Then go off to work.
Okay.
Finish at 8, come back to the restaurant till about 11, 12, 1. Make sure everything's all right and go back. So what happens in between? Then I started looking at CCTVs. I started looking on all this rubbish started going on. Bartenders do what they do best.
I feel you.
3 sets of 3 pints of Guinness for 50 ringgit, right? This is the coolest trick in the world. Hey, you know what? Really, if you get a job, and if your establishment has like 3 pints of something for $50 or whatever, right? Here's the trick. Okay, so I come to you, right? So what would you like to have? Do you have any promotions? Yeah, sir. 3 pints of Guinness for $50. Okay, cool. I'll have that. All right. So you go to the bartender. Macha. So he pumps 3. Or 3 out together, like one shot, or 1 at a time, doesn't matter. Now you have a bill, right?
Yeah.
So you go to the customer, say, your bill. Take the bill. Oh, okay. $50, correct lah. Okay, so he pays. Okay. The bill goes into your pocket. The cash goes to the bartender. He's the man holding the cash because it's a split between you and the bartender. Okay.
Right.
Now the bill is in your pocket.
Yeah.
Now another customer walks in.
Okay.
I want the 3 pints. Okay, sir. Same bill. How many times do you go to a restaurant and look at the date and time on the bill? No. You look at the price.
Yeah.
So if one day you rip me off 10 customers,
dude,
you know how much I'm losing a month?
Woohoo.
I what is this for keeping the bill in the pocket? And it hit me. And I realized, so I got a friend of mine to come and order. So one Wednesday, the fellow walks in, he orders the 3 pints. So I brought the bill. He looked at the bill. The bill was at 12:15 p.m. Lunchtime. I called the waiter. Why this bill? 12:15, huh? Oh no lah, sir, the timing on the till lah, they didn't adjust lah. Gave all kinds of excuse. Called him in and had to sack him. But it's one of those business you really got to be there.
Yeah. I think personally I do have experience in F&B.
Of course.
Having talked to people who have run successful F&Bs and all, it's,
right.
My mom knows, she's friends with like Davies who run Davies Corner, and she also knows the owner of Run, like Nirvana and all, right?
Right.
And when you talk to them, and like I'm just a fly on the wall, because it's my mama's friends talking, right? So when you hear them speak, this is people from the outside assume you got too much money, you're running a business, you're very rich, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But the reality is that it is a struggle,
a constant struggle,
and it is a lifestyle, right? Running an F&B business, especially I would dare say if it's traditional Indian, it is very much a lifestyle. It is not something you can switch off and, it's 9 p.m., time to go and enjoy my life.
Correct.
It's 24 hours. If it is not dealing with customers, it's dealing with workers, or it's
most of the time dealing with workers. They give you more hell than customers.
and it's funny because they each seem to have a unique way of dealing with workers, even. Right? And they have these little tips and tricks and idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy. I mean, you can only control so much. You can't stop your workers or you can't stop the whole thing from happening. Like people, because it's a cash business.
Right.
People will be tempted to take cash.
Yeah.
You can slow it down. You can stop it from happening.
Yeah.
Unless, you see, I believe in clubs.
Okay.
Because I know one man who had the most amazing formula, Bob Wong.
Okay,
the guy who now has Marinis and Marimba and all these Modestos and all that. He used to be known as the godfather of clubs.
Okay.
His strategy is very simple. Opens a club, like new broom sweeps well, everybody rushes to the club, packs, 6 months ROI done. Another 6 months profit taken. Okay? Then he eases off, sells off the club.
Because before people can figure out how to
no, I mean they will already be doing it, but
you've made your money.
You've made your money because the place is packed. So there's more money than these fellas can steal.
So the pilferage is negligible, so to speak.
Yes. Then he opens a second club. Okay? Then everyone rushes there. Okay, that one is now owned by someone else. So what he started to do after a while is what I was told. I used to work for him back in the day.
Okay.
His first club was called Faces.
Okay.
Saloma Bistro.
Okay.
It was the first
I
bungalow.
know I look very old, but some of these things...
Yes.
probably
so I am older. See the grey,
I look older than you. I will concede that.
Saloma Bistro it's a bungalow house. It used to be a club called Faces.
Okay.
So he was the guy who actually first started that. And so what he does is, it's exactly that. Eventually what he started to do is, all his contractors that worked for him in all his clubs, that built his clubs and bars and all that,
were
all given shares.
Okay.
All right? So now, I'm not going to charge you. Because I own a share of this place.
Okay.
I'll make sure I do a damn good job. Because this is also my club.
Right.
So after a while, when he makes his money, he gets his share, he says, okay, I'll sell the rest of it back to you.
Okay.
So they start owning the clubs.
So they become operators.
Then he goes to the next spot, he calls them up, says, bro, I got a brilliant idea for this club. You guys on board? Of course, this is still making money, what? I mean, it takes a couple of years before it starts to dwindle and die off.
Right.
Especially a dance club.
Right.
So these guys come on board, boom, same thing, makes it. Brilliant concept. You want to own a restaurant and hold on to it for dear life and hope that it makes you $1 million. Ooh, it will take a lifetime.
No, actually, when you mention Bob Wong's strategy, right? It makes a lot of sense. It is not intuitive. I don't think it's, but there's a lot of wisdom. I don't know where he got his wisdom from, but he has got it because the idea of holding on to something like a restaurant, like it's yours, your baby, and you make it so personal, right?
Yes.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
Because as it's going down, you still hold on to it, and you go down. You will never want to let it go.
I am guilty of this, so I'm not speaking from from any kind of wisdom. I think if anything, I've experienced of if whether it's a restaurant or even my own business, never want to say die, which is a good quality to have.
But it's sometimes not very good too,
Yeah, but the thing is, when things don't go the way you want it to go, you emotionally, mentally are very affected because it is you and the business is the same.
Correct.
So when you say like Bob Wong looks at it, like for example, if somebody steals from, if you ask me when I found out that one of my staff was stealing, you're stealing from me. It's personal, right?
Personal, yes.
Whereas the way you're saying it, Bob Wong kind of has this factored into the finance of it.
Correct.
Yeah, you run a restaurant, there's going to be this much pilferage.
Yes.
You're going to lose this much here. Of course, when you catch someone, fire them. If they're stupid enough to get caught, they're stupid enough to get fired.
Correct.
But you don't take it personally. Right? Okay, you factor in, there'll be
you detach yourself from it. That's a business.
Yes.
There's no emotional connection.
Yes.
You can do that, you'll be a damn good businessman, really.
Yeah. You know, one of my investors very early on, when he invested in my company, I asked him the question of, and this was when I first started the t-shirt business, right? And I asked him, I was a young guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you think I can get rich doing this?
Right.
Because that's why, at the point you're working hard, you hope that you won't be poor any longer and all that, right? And then he was sipping wine, he's like, and then he looked at me and he goes like, I think you'll be comfortable, but you won't be rich. Which was...
that's not what you wanted to hear, right?
Yeah. You think you're running a business and there's some success at the end, right? Not so much greed, but I guess it's something you're working hard for, ambitious.
Yeah, we all have that, dude. Anything you do, you imagine, this is going to make me rich.
Yeah.
This is going to get me out of my situation.
Asked him, why do you say that? Why do you say I won't be rich? And then he looks at me and then he goes like, cause you're in the business of selling t-shirts. You need to be in the business of doing business. And I was just staring at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And like you said, to give a dramatic pause, he looks at me and goes like, I need to go to the loo.
So damn it.
He left me alone with my thoughts,
Yeah.
For a good couple of minutes. And then he came back and I was like, I really want to know what you mean by... Because for me, it sounds the same.
Yeah.
I'm running a company that prints t-shirts.
Yeah.
So I am in the t-shirt business and it is a business.
Yeah.
So I'm in the business of business.
Yeah.
And then he starts telling me about... You see, he tells me that you are worried about making the best t-shirts and selling the most t-shirts. And day in, day out, your brain is about t-shirts.
T-shirts.
Right? But if you are in the business of doing business, day in, day out, you only think about running a business. In the sense that you actually don't care how the t-shirt is made, how the t-shirt is sold.
Correct.
You want to make sure the right people are making the t-shirts, the right people are selling the t-shirts. What do you need to make sure these people are empowered to do so? And if you need to hire somebody to oversee these two people so you can move on to another business, and that's the only way you look at it. And in that sense, it resonates a lot from what you said about Bawang. In the sense, if it doesn't work, cut your losses,
move on. Yeah.
It's not personal.
Correct. I mean, look at all these big brands. I just found out that there's this company, I would say. I might be wrong, but I think it's called PSD or PDS or something.
Okay.
It's a huge factory.
Okay.
And what this factory does is, I was shocked. These are the factories, or this factory are the people who makes clothes for all these big brands that we buy in the supermarkets. From your Zara's to this and that. They're in the business of making clothes, but they're not holding on to it for dear life. So now I've outsourced it to this factory.
Right.
These are my designs, get it done, ship it out.
Yeah.
Done.
Actually, if you see, there's a beautiful documentary, I think on Netflix, of I think it's a Super Dry guys. You know the Super Dry?
Yeah.
Am I getting it right? Super Dry, right?
Super Dry?
Or is it called Super something else? You know, the Japan Super Dry. I think it's Super Dry.
You mean the clothes?
Yeah,
Super Dry. Yeah. Super Dry.
So the guys who run it, guys who own it and run it, actually it's two European guys. Right. They are not some. It's not some Asian Japanese. And they had Idris Elba as an ambassador.
Right.
And I think the documentary was built around that because people watch for Idris Elba.
Yeah.
But when you realize that they themselves don't actually make anything, right? So they have factories in Turkey where the factory guy will come and say, hey, we got this new really cool cracked kind of print. We have this really cool this. You can do this, you can do that. And basically there's an industry that goes to brands and says, this is the latest. do you want it? It is not the brands telling, hey, we want this awesome,
we
cool
want it
crack.
this way.
No. So it is actually, there's an industry where, look, we'll help you put a brand to it. So the brand figures out how to sell it.
Right.
They look at retail and all that.
Right.
But the manufacturing is a whole different world.
A whole different ball game, right?
Like what you're saying now.
Yeah.
So these guys actually, the what you wear, they kind of determine the fashion lah.
There you go.
The branding is somebody else.
Somebody else.
Slap a brand to it, the price point and all that. But these kind of, these guys are the ones that determine what's the coming trend, what's new and all that. And I found that very fascinating.
I think if we can learn how to detach ourselves from the businesses that we run, next level. Because how difficult would it be for you to say, you know what, I'm done with this car that I'm driving. It's wasting too much of my money. I'm going to get another car, which is cheaper. Trust me, bro. You know lah, this car been with me for so long, you know what all happened in that car, who all was in that car. You will be going on and on and on, and you're so attached to it.
Yes.
You will hold on to it. You will keep repairing it every month. You will spend more money than you could. If you saved it, you would have had enough down deposit for another car.
Yes.
That's what happens to most of us, including me.
Yes.
I think we just need to learn how to detach ourselves from a lot of these things, and we'll be better people.
Yeah. No, but I think I've had this conversation before, and somebody corrected me in the sense, or not corrected, they reminded me that we all have things that we think is a good idea. In the sense that, for me or you, it might be cars, right? For somebody looking at it, like, stupid, waste money on cars.
Correct.
Right? And suddenly realize these guys have a watch collection.
Yeah.
Or
you're right.
This girl has a handbag collection. Or a shoe collection. So we all have something stupid that we think it's worthwhile. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
It differs. So I think we can't apply it to everything lah.
Yeah.
So in my case, I've accepted that something with 4 wheels is probably going to be my weakness, right? And so I accept it in the sense that, fine, this is not a smart decision. If I can convince myself that this is a smart decision, I'm just lying to myself lah. But
so, it's a stupid decision. I'll buy it anyway.
But it makes you happy.
It makes you
happy. So
happy.
you realize you're aware of it. Stupid decision.
That makes sense, yeah.
But it makes you happy. Instead of trying to justify to the world that I need to drive this car.
Actually, you don't have to justify to the world. Exactly. You just need to justify to the wife.
You went right to the point.
Oh, come on, man. Home and Finance Minister. Anyway, but such an interesting conversation, because a lot of people hold on to certain things, right? There was a point in my life when I was on radio. I was doing classic rock for a very short stint before I moved to hits.
Okay.
And I was given an opportunity to move to hits.
Okay.
Okay, because they thought I was better suited for hits. I want to stay with this station.
This is still part of the group? Or?
Still part of the group.
Okay.
And my boss looked at me and says, look, we've done our research, and there's a reason why I'm telling you, I think you've got enough talent, but there's a reason why I'm telling you to move to hits.
Okay.
So you should not hold on to it emotionally. Think about it properly. And I did. I moved to hits. And 9 months later, Classic Rock was taken off FM. And it now only runs on an Astro channel, right? So he already knew what was going to happen. But if I insisted that I wanted to stay with Classic Rock,
right,
I probably now would not be a radio DJ anymore, because there wouldn't be any, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we all have that emotional connection with whatever we think and work. But sometimes you really got to take a step back and say, you know what?
So how did that F&B saga?
So basically what happened was KL1, we shut down KL1. The PJ1 my brother was running, he also came to me, and I think we close this one as well. One day we'll see how lah.
Okay.
Because we trademarked the name and all that.
Okay.
And one day we see how lah. I said okay lah, because he wanted to go back to work as well.
Right.
So we shut that one up. We did a party, called all our friends. Last stint, got the bands played, everyone sang. We did a barbecue from the afternoon, went on to 2-3 in the morning, and we just ended it. We ended it lah. So we never made money.
Okay.
I mean, we made money enough to sustain.
Okay.
There was no
keep
profit.
The doors open. Okay.
Yeah, to keep the doors open. So when we walked out of it, right, a lot of people thought it was a failure. I thought otherwise. I thought, shit, what a successful journey.
Okay.
Simply because I mean, how many people can tell me that you had a 5,000 square foot restaurant in the heart of KL
Okay.
and ran it for that long
Okay.
with a full-on gourmet kitchen?
Okay.
Okay, a full working staff. Not many can tell you that. But I
hear you.
I can share that story now because I did it.
See, if I were to ask you something, right? If I were to reflect on my own journey, right? I think going back, looking at some of my decisions, especially when it comes to work and business, right? I would not change what the big decisions I've made, whether to start this company or not. I would not change that because I don't think fundamentally until today, I don't think it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right? And in terms of experience and exposure. But the one thing that I wish I did, right? And when you mentioned like the philosophy of Paul Wong, we're making him a legend now, right?
Yeah.
Or more a legend than he already is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in a sense, I do think that I should have cut my losses a lot earlier. Because I incurred a lot of debt, personal debt, before, and even then I didn't throw in the towel. I had my advisors and my mentors who had to pull me aside and drill down and sit down with me and go like, hey man, what is your debt level now, trying to sustain this company? And what do you forecast your debt level is going to be in the next 1 year? And do you see
I know exactly what you're saying.
The debt increasing or decreasing? Right? Because if you see you surfacing from your debt, that means you're slowly reducing the debt, then there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? But in the foreseeable future, at least the next 6 months to a year, you see yourself incurring more debt, then you really have to evaluate. Yeah. And my position was even more complex because I had investors, I had institutional investors on board. So it was and I was incurring personal debt to sustain this vehicle, right? So it's different if it was my own company. Maybe you can justify it. So I made the decision of, okay, better cut my losses, better draw a line. And because if it comes to a point where you can't pay your employees, it makes no sense, right?
Right.
And I think the biggest red flag was I was paying my employees late.
Right.
I paid everyone what they owed, my team, but paying late sucks.
Sucks, of course.
Getting your salary late sucks.
Is the worst, yes.
And it's a massive hit on morale as well, right? So I wish that I had cut it
your losses
much earlier. So it didn't come to a point where you're paying salaries late and you're in debt.
Same.
Or at least manage into a manageable level.
Correct.
And that is what I agree with you that I would probably have done things or made the same big decisions, but the ability to learn to cut the losses earlier, being a bit more financially sound. Right. I wish that foresight.
I know the same. I feel for you because the same thing was going on with the Nellies in KL.
Man,
started to get really tough, and when you start taking money out of your own pocket, then that's when. But again, because you have one brand running already, this is the second one. How do I let this go? I cannot.
Right.
In actual fact, in reality, or in my reality, I cannot let this go. It should be the third one opening, not downsizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in reality, this should have gone.
Yeah.
Within the first 1.5 years.
Yeah.
The moment you see it not happening, you're always constantly just at the edge,
Yeah.
But I didn't. I held on to it. But I mean, I had good people like my wife. Okay, enough. Time to end this party.
No, I'm surprised my wife, tolerates me as much as she does.
Really, yeah. All our wives do.
Well, if she murders me one day, you'll know that I pushed it a bit too far.
All right, dude, I gotta go.
Okay.
How are we gonna end this?
No, it's a podcast, so you don't need an ending.
Yeah, let's not. We can always do it again.
Yeah. Actually, yes. Funnily enough, I do have more things that I am curious about. The things, especially things that you're working on.
Yeah.
Especially in the, would you say training or how do you call it?
Training? Yeah. I call it training. Basically, why I decided to do this was, I started giving advice to people who came to me. So I became kind of like a personal coach, right? Life coach. Then I realized that most of them are coming to me about the same thing. You know, I had young lawyers saying, damn nervous when I go to court. Don't know how. I see the judge, I feel like shitting my pants.
Okay.
You know?
So it's just... It's almost like a Tony Robbins...
Yeah, but that's the next level. Yeah.
You're just trying to give them
correct
self-confidence.
So what I realized is just the communication skills. Effective communication. So I put it in a nice little package. I did a couple and then we had to go through the MCO, so everything is on hold.
I hear you. Okay.
Because mine is very interactive.
I
refuse to do it online. Everyone said, do it online. I said, you know what? I'll be ripping them. I'll be ripping you off. You pay a certain amount of money, I give it to you online. You're not going to get anything out of it.
You believe that it needs a little bit of personal coaching?
It has to. The way I teach it. So what I've done is I've sat down, I put a whole thing together with the trainings I've been to and the seminars I've been to and the things I've learned and everything I've done in 34 years of being in the entertainment industry. I've compressed it, put it on a nice little silver platter, and this is what I present to you. It's just a 2-hour training.
Wow.
It's all you need. It's not going to be one of those where you sit down from morning to night and come back on Sunday again, morning to night. No. That 2 hours is enough to change your life, and I'll tell you, I'll guarantee you.
A single 2 hour.
A single 2 hour
session.
Done.
Wow.
You know, because what I am giving you are literally the tips and tricks of the trade on a nice little platter.
So these are one-on-one, or you do it to a group? Or?
I can do it to a group. I can do it one-on-one. And what you need to do, and the only way it's going to work, is take what I've given you and practice.
Okay.
You practice it long enough, and I say long enough, all it needs is anywhere between 10 days to 20 days.
And you'll see.
And you'll see the difference.
Wow, that's intriguing.
So I'm not going to be one of those coaches that go like, everybody stand up. Okay, sit down. How was lunch? Good. Okay. Don't worry, I'll be asking you this again after dinner. You know? It's like,
okay.
So that's it. 2 hours, you're done. You get out of my place and you never have to see my face again.
So that's what's consuming your time. Now?
Yeah. Right now, no. But I'm also doing some other stuff.
Okay.
Business-wise.
Okay.
This is a long story. Cut short was my wife's auntie's leg was about to be amputated because of diabetes.
Okay. Okay.
So my wife didn't want that to happen. So we did some research. Ended up in India. And then we found this amazing Ayurvedic cream. Tried it on the auntie. Doctor says, I'll give you 2 weeks.
To amputate.
In 2 weeks, the leg, the color, everything changed, came back to normal. Doctor got a shock.
Wow.
I said, lots of people in Malaysia need help.
Okay.
So we went and spoke to these guys and we became the official distributors for this product.
Okay. What's it called?
And, it's called Go Heal.
Go Heal.
Goheal.
Okay. And where can people...
Through me, send me a DM on my Facebook.
No, literally, if they have to message you to buy it, or
they have to message me to buy. We have not started we already have the company.
Okay.
We've already got our NOT, the number to import the products. All that done.
Okay.
We've got one very basic Facebook page.
Okay.
Haven't sat down and complete the whole thing because someone else is helping us with that.
All right.
But we've already been selling the products because people contact India and India says, okay, we've got a distributor in Malaysia.
Okay.
So we've helped people right from Johor all the way up to Penang, Sarawak. I've got some pictures I can show you.
This is not a planned plug, I assure you.
No, it is not.
I really want to know.
I'm not showing you the pictures. But if you know anyone who needs help.
I'm curious. Yes.
I think the reason why we also did this is because we realized, wow, cleaning wounds, diabetic wounds, some people go like 3 times a week to the centers, can cost you thousands.
So literally, if you use this product, you eventually don't need to, wouldn't have to deal with it.
You're looking at wounds like this, my friend. Man. Okay?
Woohoo!
You're looking at wounds like this.
I'm quite crazy.
So this is what it was, and this is what it is after a couple of weeks. Wow. And eventually it'll all heal. That's after the toe being amputated. And these are real people people in Malaysia as well. These kind of wounds. And
so if they were to search on Go Heal on Facebook, they would be able to find it?
Yes, they would.
Okay, interesting. I'll check it out. I definitely have.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Lah.
Stories from my mom about diabetes. People.
It's amazing. I had this guy in India, in Johor, massive wound around his ankle. Today it's all gone.
But you still have to make some dietary changes and all that. But this is
no. I mean, you do what you're already doing. Yeah, your dietary changes and all that, like no sugar and all, of course.
But
once you've got a wound, it takes forever to heal.
Okay.
Instead, it starts eating inside, and then it turns gangrene, and then, it becomes bad.
So this is specific to
the wound.
A wound related to diabetes not allowing you to heal.
But it also works for burnt wounds.
So any kind of healing, open wound healing kind of deal. Correct.
But the reason this cream was made was because of
that. Is not the cream.
No. This is alcohol. I'm telling you, these days I don't have to drink anymore because every time I spray this thing on my hand, it seeps into my bloodstream. I'm just constantly high, like, what's up, bro?
Okay, I think that's a good place to end the podcast. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
We'll definitely try to do this again sometime.
Definitely.